Sorry.
Yeah. Pretty good. No, I understand. I see where this is going. And like she insisted on starting a reorg meeting. Oh, she had no idea how to start a reorg meeting. Oh, so I kept trying to say, like,
You ready?
oh,
Hey, you ready?
I've got Yankees and Giants.
Yankees wrong.
Got an hour, 7 minutes.
Good evening. I'd like to call the October 28th, 2024 Borough Council meeting to order. Will the clerk please read the open public meeting statement?
Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided as required under Chapter 231, Public Law 1975, specifying the time, date, and location by posting a copy of the notice on the municipal building, municipal website, providing a copy of the annual notice schedule to the official newspapers of the borough, and is on file in the clerk's office.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Council President Revelinsky. Councilman Collins.
Here.
Councilman Manco.
Here.
Councilman Poznanski.
Here.
Councilman Potter.
Here.
Councilman Zambrana.
Here.
Mayor Murray.
Present.
Borough Attorney Peter Vignola.
President.
Borough Engineer Lou Plaskanka.
Present.
Borough Engineer Mike McClellan.
Here.
Borough Administrator Fred Carr.
Also present.
Borough Clerk Monica Orlando, present.
Will everyone please stand for a moment of silence, followed by the salute to the flag?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So we have two presentations tonight. First will be Charles for the Middletown Public Library.
Something's going on.
Didn't do it.
Can you hear me? All right. Well, thank you again for having me. I appreciate the time. I'll try to make it brief, but I just wanted to catch you all up on what's happening at the library. I know this is the first time I've done it since I've been working there for 2 years, so I'm not going to cover the whole 2 years. But I do want to back up to 2023 because I think this is the most significant thing that the library has done in a long time. We went fine-free in the beginning of 2023, so we've been fine-free for over a year now, and it's been very popular. For any of you who don't know what fine-free is, it's sort of a trend that a lot of public libraries in the country are doing, where we don't charge fines for late books. So we still charge fines for books that are lost or damaged, but we feel that, people shouldn't be punished for, being a day or two late with their books. So it's more of a community service, really, that we don't charge fines. And most people bring their books back on time. A lot of people who bring their books back late, it's a few days. It's not a big deal. So, and we make up the fine money in other ways. So there's not a net loss at all. So just some quick statistics for this year up to this point, so you know how popular our library is. We've had 429 programs that serve adults, children, and preschool children. We've had, with a total of 3,282 attendees. We've had 13,625 people enter the library this year so far, and that's an increase from the previous year. And we currently have 1,600 active library card holders. So people are still using the library and reading books and watching movies. Just as an example, we've circulated 17,900 books and movies so far this year. So people love it. Some of the things that we've done this year, we've upgraded all of the computers in the library so that no computers are older than 2021. When I first started working there, we still had some late 90 models of computers. So everything is pretty much up to date now. We're lucky enough to have an Eagle Scout do a project for the library this year. Jason Orlowski and his troop came in and they did some much-needed maintenance work on the library, including they painted the book drop in the front of the library. They built a bench with planters, and they cut back the bamboo that is growing and taking over the back of the library. And they also Jason built some sign holders that we have out in the garden now that have interpretive signage that goes along with our pollinator garden that we have back there. We installed a brand-new circulation system and online catalog this year so that it's much more user-friendly for our patrons and staff. We installed an AED defibrillator in the library. We didn't have one before, so we feel safer having that. We are lucky enough to have a retired nurse who also can take care of people if they need it. We also installed a new air conditioning unit that was broken, and I want to thank the Borough for that because you helped us out a lot with fixing that. So we started 2 new services this year, just recently. We have a limited mobility service now, so if anybody can't leave their house in order to come to the library to get books or movies, we'll bring them to them. So that we just started that recently. Along the same lines, we started a service for parents of newborn babies. So if they want some books or movies that they can read to their babies, we'll bring those to them too. We just recently bought a 10 by 14 shed that some of you may have seen in the grassy area at the end of the parking lot. We bought that partly for storage because the library doesn't have any storage at all, really. But it's actually the main purpose is we're starting what's called a library of things, which is a collection of objects that people can borrow. So an example would be let's say a pressure washer. So things that people don't want to necessarily buy, they can borrow from the library. So if, most of us, if we have done pressure washing, it's, you have to go out and buy a $200 or $300 thing and you use it once a year. But if you want to borrow it from the library, it's free. If you're a library card holder, you get it for 2 weeks and you bring it back. So that's just one example. Some other examples are fishing gear, camping gear, things like that. So we're going to start building it up slowly, and that's why we needed the storage. So we had to have that. So, and then we had our Fall Harvest Festival this weekend. Hopefully some of you made it, which included a touch-a-truck event, and we had over 200 people attend that. So, and I want to thank the Milltown Police Department, the Fire Department, the Rescue Squad, and the DPW because they all showed up with their equipment, and people loved it. So that was great. And then I want to give a special thank you to Ralph Jasnowski and his staff because they've just been super helpful all year with various things. Like they built the foundation for our shed. Ralph's always, if I have any issues with the building out there, he's always there, or his crew. So they're super helpful, and I appreciate them. And of course, I want to thank my staff at the library because I couldn't do this without them, and the town loves them. They're great. So that's it. If you have any questions, I'll happily answer them. But thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you, John.
Next, we have Dorian Kerber, Milltown Senior Center.
Not everything was mounted. Hi, Dorian Kerber. I'm on the Green Team, and we decided to pursue a project at the Milltown Senior Center. And on the side where it's all grassy, Home Depot applied for a foundation grant, and we received $3,650. And in doing so, they created 4 very large raised beds. In addition, they also put 2 rain barrels, installed those. They're functioning. Of course, it's been no rain, so, but when it did rain, it did function properly. And then, in addition, that was done on August 15th. Because of all the rain, we had to wait till August 15th for that to happen. In addition, we have 2 smaller raised beds that were assembled for any use that they would like to use them for, where the larger ones are more for vegetables and produce. And then on the front end of the part of the senior center, there was really, the vegetation has just dissipated. With the trees in the front, it really takes up so much of the shade. We're hoping to at least get a couple trees down, especially the one by the fence. The one by the fence, if we can get that down, that'd be super. Not only does the roots that are exposed, they have to be removed, because there is a Girl Scout that lives in town that's going to do her award and put a pollinator garden in front of that area. And that will help with the standing rain. When we do have lots of rain, just the standing water all over the place. The runoff just doesn't disappear. It just stands there. But with the side of the building now done with some of the beds, they'll be able to absorb some of that water, which is fantastic. And also in the front, we did some of the plants. In addition, we did receive 2 rose bushes, which I'll plant tomorrow, and that was from the Scout mom. And they're at the meeting across the street at the Legion, which I have to go to next. So I just wanted to show some pictures, basically. Now this, I'll just gonna hand it to you. This shows you the standing water. That's the reason why I put it on there. Basically, the more you mow the lawn, the more you're standing on your lawn, the more, it becomes really an impervious surface. Not completely, but when you're just always pounding on it and walking on it, it gets stiff. Not everybody aerates their lawn. So with this, of course, this was built in 1980. You can see with all the situation. I thought it would be a great project to pursue. Now, I don't want to show those. This is some of the pictures. Also, this is Home Depot. This is we had the store manager, Chris, assistant manager, Leo, department managers also attend, and then the rest of the volunteers. This was when they were starting to dig for the raised bed, which I have on the video. And then this shows you the preparation for the front area. The 3 pictures shows that the mulch was put down, as well as the fabric, so we can minimize weeding for the front area and the side of the building, where it's just all pretty much blank. There was a little vegetation, but not much. So this shows you how they were working on assembling the raised bed. You have the picture where they started digging the hole afterwards. And this was all done by the Home Depot on the side of the building. Okay, we have one more picture for Home Depot. They also installed the rain garden, so the rain barrels, and posed for a picture, of course, when the project was pretty much done. Then in this picture, you'll notice a councilman who was assisting us, which we just really needed. There were loads of roots in the dirt. So what we did was we separated the mulch, of course, and the fabric to get to the dirt so that we could dig it down for the plants to be planted. And this was the Girl Scouts. Councilman Manco assisted. Then I noticed over by the flag area, we cleaned that up. We put new rocks in there. It was all covered by the grant, so we figured why not utilize the funding for that purpose. I don't have the complete pictures, but there are so many pictures to print. These were the general ones that I printed. In addition, the front signage needs attention. The metal was kind of rusted, so she is going to look to do that with her gold project, as well as the pollinator garden, to paint that and paint the post. And then we're going to probably put tulips just on the outside there. But we straightened it all out and fixed it so it's straight now and looks really nice. And this is the last pictures. So when the Girl Scouts came, they came in the morning, did something for about an hour and a half. I had to cut the evergreen because I didn't want anyone poking themselves in the eyes. They had to get under there, so they were dead anyway. There was nothing on them, on the branches. They were empty. So it was really fantastic. And Councilman Manco helped us with the cinder block. We just couldn't budget. It was really hard because the ground was so dry. But I really appreciate the council approving this project, us applying for the foundation grant. Anything that's dead or needs to be repaired or replaced has a 1-year warranty under the foundation grant. Because I had mentioned it to him, and he says, don't worry about it, just bring it and we'll exchange it. So anything will be replaced in the spring that's currently there. In addition, it was great to have the Girl Scouts come in the morning, then they came a little bit in the afternoon, and they were able to complete as much as they did with all the help. It was just terrific to have a great team of folks really participate and envision, really dressing up the area. So hopefully we can get more plants for the spring to add more to the one bed. We kind of got short on it. So, but I do have seeds. I've decided that we're going to start seeding them in March and prep them. So, when you have like a bunch of seeds in a packet, you don't know which colors are which. So we're going to take them apart and go to the experts at the Nature Plant Society and find out which ones they are so that we don't put like all the yellows together and all that. We want to separate it and make it look nice. And so this way, come the spring, they can plant in the pollinator garden as well as plant in the last bed that we have to finish. And thank you. I appreciate the support and hope you get the chance to go over there.
Now, this was a gold project, correct?
Pardon?
This was for her gold project?
This was a service project for the Girl Scouts. The gold project will be for the tree to be removed in front of the fence that was installed years ago so that she can put the pollinator garden there. And what it's going to do, it's really going to help even Parkview, that sidewalk, because it gets so drenched and wet and standing water just stays there. It's going to help with that situation, and it'll be great. And then maybe we can put a tree further up, smaller tree, further up from there to replace the one, huge one they've taken down. It's a pin oak anyway. It's disease. It's going to eventually die. It's the same story for 15 years in the state, so. Okay. Any other questions? No questions? Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dorian.
Nice work.
Good job, Dorian. You should keep Looks good.
Now is a time for public comment limited to the resolutions on the agenda. If you wish to speak, please step up to the microphone, state your name and address for the record. Again, the public portion is limited to the comments only on the resolutions listed on the agenda at this time. There will be a 5-minute time limit set forth by the rules of council. If someone raises their hand, please come up to the microphone, state your name and address for the record. Seeing none, close audience comments. The meeting minutes for October 15th, 2024, regular meeting are on the agenda for approval. Are there any comments or corrections?
Mayor, Council President Revelinsky emailed saying he wanted something added, but he's not here, and I'm not sure where he wanted it, so I don't know if you want to hold off on approving these minutes until he's at the next meeting.
Can we
Just
table
wanna
that?
Vote as they are.
Can we table it until the next meeting?
Yeah, that's what I just said. I don't know. I don't want to do, I mean, that's. it's up
Make
to
a
you.
motion, we table the minutes till the next meeting when Council President Revlinski's here.
I'll second.
We can do an all in favor for that one, right?
Can we make a motion?
We got a motion and a
Motion and a
second.
second, you just need all in favor.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No? Okay. The minutes for October 15th, 2024, executive session number 1 are on the agenda for approval. Are there any comments or corrections? No? May I have a motion to accept the minutes as typed?
So moved.
I have a motion made by Councilman Potter, seconded by,
We didn't get a second.
Can we just table the minutes?
Oh, no, the executive.
These are okay.
These are
He
the
just
exec-
had, he just had
executive
some
session.
comment he wanted added.
You said to the regular meeting, right?
Yeah, to the regular meeting. The executive ones he had no issues with, so we just need a second.
I'll second.
thank you, Councilman Collins. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. The minutes for October 15th, 2024, executive session number 2 are on the agenda for approval. Are there any comments or corrections? No? Can I have a motion to accept the minutes as typed?
Make a
So
mo-
moved. Second.
Motion made by Councilman Collins, second by Councilman Potter. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Authorizing payments of municipal obligations. Next on the agenda, we have authorized payments of municipal obligations. Will the clerk please read the resolution by title?
Resolution 2024-286, authorizing the payment of bills, claims, and statements against the Borough of Milltown in the total amount of $2,215,194.18.
You heard the reading of this resolution. Are there any questions?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I got a question on page 5 for Higher Gruel Associates. It says Ford Avenue and it says Albert Avenue. Anybody know what that is?
So Washington, Albert.
Washington, Albert.
And that's all that's the planning board account? Or the first two are Washington Avenue and 25 is escrow for planning board applications.
How about Ford Avenue we got on there?
So that would be the same, the planner. So the planner is involved in the Ford Avenue conversation and then bills the borough. So if you look at the previous bills on Washington Avenue, Albert Avenue, you'll see that there's a DEV in front of it, Councilman. That tells you that those are developer escrows, and that's how that bill is paid. Okay? The legal litigation, his involvement as the planner in that litigation or, consultations, that just comes out of our budget as the borough planner.
You've heard the reading of this resolution. Or may I have a motion in a second, please?
So moved.
Second?
I have a motion made by Councilman Potter, seconded by Councilman Collins. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilman Collins.
Aye.
Councilman Manco. Aye. Councilman Poznanski.
Aye.
Councilman Potter.
Aye.
Councilman Zambrana.
Aye.
A consent resolution has been prepared for the resolutions listed on the agenda. All matters listed under the consent agenda are considered to be routine in nature and having been reviewed by Borough Council will be enacted on in one motion. Any items may be removed from the consent agenda at the request of any council member, and if so removed, will be treated on in a separate matter. Any items requiring expenditures are supported by certification of funds. If any members of the council wants any resolution acted upon individually, please give me the resolution number and it will be pulled from the consent resolution.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'd like 2024289 pulled, 2024291 pulled, and 2024293 pulled.
289, 291,
293.
293. Anybody else? No? Okay. Will the clerk please read the consent agenda resolution?
Whereas pursuant to the rules of council, the council may establish a consent agenda for any regular or special meetings upon certain conditions. And whereas each of the following resolutions to be presented before the Borough Council at its October 28, 2024 regular meeting appear to have the unanimous approval of all members of the Borough Council. 2024-288, 2024-290, 2024-292.
Yes, every other one.
Okay. Now therefore be resolved by the Borough Council of the Borough of Milltown that each of the above listed resolutions be approved and adopted by the Borough Council with the same legal effect as though each was read in its entirety at the October 28th, 2024 regular meeting and adopted by separate vote.
You have heard the reading of this consent resolution. What's your pleasure?
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that these resolutions be adopted.
Second.
I have a motion made by Councilman Potter, seconded by Councilman Collins. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilman Collins.
Aye.
Councilman Menko. Aye. Councilman Poznanski.
Aye.
Councilman Potter.
Aye.
Councilman Zambrana.
Aye.
Will the clerk please read resolution number 2024-289 by title?
Resolution 2024-289, authorizing budget transfers.
You had the reading of these resolutions. What's your pleasure, or comments or concerns?
As I was just questioning some of these budget transfers we're doing. We're taking money from the pool and putting it in dispatch, and then we're taking liability insurance and, I don't know, we're putting it into salaries and wages, but then we have a sewer disposal for the city of New Brunswick for 105. How come we can't put the 105 in the water account?
So, so, let's just talk about the front page. Okay, the front page, Councilman, is the current fund. Okay, that comes out of the operating budget of the current fund. In consultations with Joe Zanga, the Chief Financial Officer, our budget lines are tight. As we've talked about before, the budget is very, very tight. Okay, there's not a lot of slack. The state statute allows us to transfer money on the 1st of November within the budget lines of the borough's adopted budget. So if you look on the front page in the current fund, Joe looked at some of the different budget lines that we have and trying to move money to pay obligations. So for instance, general administration, that would be my budget line. We're taking $15,000 and we're transferring it to, like, for instance, you could just say it's going down to legal expenses because we have a lot of legal bills, okay? So that's in the current fund of a transfer of $122,000. On the back side, we have budget transfers from water sewer operating fund, which is separate from the current fund, self-funded utility, as you know, paid for by rates. And so we want to take in some, again, if you see $105,000, okay, from where we had budgeted for the sewer disposal and moving it to pay for Social Security costs. We pay 7.65, as you all know, for that, and in the salary and wages in the water and sewer operating fund, which are unforecasted in the budget.
So we're taking surplus from sewer and we're putting it in.
It's not surplus. It's budgeted money that we place into the budget thinking we would need it. We don't need it so far, and we could transfer it now. That's not a surplus. No, sir. There is no surplus in our budget.
Well, if we leave it in the sewer and disposal, in that line, can't we use that in the water budget next year?
Yes, but you can't pay your bills this year. This is about paying your bills now, here, today, this year.
I just find it strange that we're raising rates in water and we're taking money from the water and putting it in basically salaries.
Again, to pay the bills, yes, sir. If you remember from some months ago, talking about how we have not raised the water rates in a long time, we have not raised the electrical rates in a long time. We try to hold our current fund, our tax rate below 2% changes. When you make those kinds of decisions year after year, it catches up to you. It's catching up.
That's all I have.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
I need a motion and a second.
I'll make a motion. Motion.
Motion by Councilman
Make a motion, so moved.
Collins, seconded by Councilman Potter. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilman Collins?
Aye.
Councilman Menko?
Aye.
Councilman Poznanski?
Aye.
Councilman Potter?
Aye.
Councilman Zambrana?
Aye.
Will the clerk please read resolution number 2024-291 by title?
Authorizing professional engineering services, CME Associates, Foch Avenue improvements not to exceed $110,827.
You had heard any questions, comments?
Oh, Mike, this is gonna be ours, huh? Foch Avenue, West Foch and East Foch, you're gonna do both?
Yeah, if you remember the first project we just did.
Microphone, please.
Thank you. We were unable to finish to the cul-de-sac, so we're gonna do
That's
that piece and go on the other side of Main Street. We're gonna get that drainage problem on Main Street fixed once and for all.
Okay, so you're gonna finish West Foch Avenue first then?
That's correct.
Okay, thanks. I was just worried about the people over there.
Good, understand.
May I have a motion and a second, please?
So moved.
Second.
A motion made by Councilman Potter, seconded by Councilman Collins. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilman Collins?
Aye.
Councilman Menko? Aye. Councilman Poznanski?
Aye.
Councilman Potter?
Aye.
Councilman Zambrana?
Aye.
Will the clerk please read resolution 2024-293 by title?
Authorizing honorary street naming.
Yeah, questions, comments?
Yeah, just had a question. It says Ms. Baliki's husband requested this.
Yes,
Who put it on the agenda?
I did.
Because I don't know anything about this one, so. But she just passed away, so. Okay, that's all.
She was a, just in brief, I mean, you could say it.
No, go ahead.
She was a long-term, she was a well-valued, well-liked, long-term crossing guard in town. And a few years ago, she got very sick. But she was certainly well-respected. I met her husband. And he also is just a great charitable guy. His Corvette Club does a tremendous, just as a family, they, rather quietly, they do a lot, they did a lot for this town and continue to. And I'm glad to see this come about.
100%. And I 100% so move this. So this is like an honorary plaque that would go up?
Yeah, it would be a secondary name for the street. So the
Sure.
street name's not gonna change, you're just gonna have a
Okay.
placard above it that recognizes Ms. McClacken.
Okay.
Okay.
I think this is a great move. Great move. And I motion this resolution.
I have a motion made by Councilman Potter. May I have a second, please?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Collins. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilman Collins?
Aye.
Councilman Menko?
Aye.
Councilman Poznanski?
Aye.
Councilman Potter?
Aye.
Councilman Zambrana?
Aye.
Reports from elected officials. Council President Revelinsky, did you have a report? Councilman Collins?
No reports, Mr. Mayor.
Councilman Manco?
Let's see. So, we're going to the library. There are some upcoming events for the library. But it is always worthy to mention all the good things that they do. The second annual Harvest Day Festival, Touch a Truck event was a great success. The Milltown Police Department, the Milltown Fire Department, the Rescue Squad, and the DPW all participated in the event, bringing trucks and happiness and light entertainment. Thank you for the sponsors. The library would like to thank the sponsors, Bronson and McNamara Memorial Home, the Creative Home for Funerals, Bimbo Bakeries, and Mike's Country Market. And thank you to the community for enjoying the event and coming to the event. Regarding the upcoming events at the library, Tuesday, October 29th, Creatures of the Night, Bats of New Jersey. Please register. Wednesday, October 30th, After School Snack and Chat Book Club. Please register for that. Thursday, October 31st, the After School Halloween Jeopardy. Saturday, November 2nd, Crochet for Beginners, followed by Read to a Pooch. Monday, November 4th, will be adult yoga classes, and please register for that as well. Tuesday, November 5th, meet and greet your local author, Eric Herkat, is the featured author, and please register for that event as well. Wednesday, November 6th, Tween Crafts, raised salt painting, and again, please register for that one. Tuesday, November 12th, there is a library board meeting, and that is open to the public. And the library will be closed on Monday, November 11th, honoring veterans. Anything you need to do with the library to register, you can always call. That number is on the website. It is 732-247-2270. And the Friends of the Milltown Public Library will be having a silent auction starting Saturday, August 16th, and they will be open during library hours until Saturday, November 23rd. They are looking for donations of new and gently used items. Items can be dropped off at the library. They would like to thank you in advance. And the library just keeps moving forward and doing better and better things and becoming a more important piece of the town and its culture for a lot of kids, especially at JFK, that I always see there. You're here. Beyond that, I think that's all I have for tonight. The rec department is a little quiet. We're moving forward into it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Poznanski.
Sure. First, I'm going to speak about the Milltown Senior Center highlights for November. We have several bus trips planned in November, including Monmouth Kitchen, the Shrimp Box in Point Pleasant, Yamish Market, Metuchen Inn, and Boscov's. Please check the calendar for days and times. Please remember to register as soon as possible, as the bus can only fit 10 people. As with any activities, events, please sign up on the bulletin board in the Senior Center or contact Debbie at dcuddy@milltownborough.com. The VNA nurse will be here on Tuesday, November 19th, from 12 to 3. Please sign up on the bulletin board if you would like to meet with her. New participants are always welcome. We are starting a new class on Wednesdays in January 2025 on muscle toning and body sculpting taught by our Sweating to the Oldies instructor, Linda McBride. Please check the calendar for days and times. We encourage you to speak with Debbie if you have any thoughts about the new class ideas you may have and would like to participate moving forward. There was a word missing in my type here. The Senior Center will be closed November 5th for Election Day, November 11th for Veterans Day, November 28th and 29th for Thanksgiving. We will not be delivering Meals on Wheels to those days. Additionally, if you know anyone that is interested in receiving Meals on Wheels, please contact Debbie at 732-296-0681. For the Milltown Historic Preservation Committee, there was no report. And the DPW, it's a very minor report. Today, they had a trunk or treat this weekend, went well, and they had Milltown Day last month and also went very well. And I'm working with Ralph on some things for on my next report at the next meeting. And I've asked him to continue with the cleanup if he can, as time permits, at the old DPW site and also at the Schwendeman area. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Councilman Potter.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. From the Milltown Police Department, curfews will be in effect on Wednesday and Thursday of this week for Halloween. Unaccompanied minors should not be out after 8 p.m. on either day. Additionally, please drive with extra caution, as pedestrian traffic is expected to increase during the Halloween festivities. Your cooperation helps ensure a safe environment for everyone. Community involvement is crucial in maintaining a more secure environment. We strongly encourage you to assist us by reporting any suspicious persons, vehicles, or incidents that you may come across. Our non-emergency number is 732-828-1100, and in case of emergencies, always dial 911. Concerns can also be submitted by using the official borough website under the Report a Concern tab. And for accurate and reliable information, please contact the Milltown Police Department directly. Do not rely on social media, as the information shared there can often be incorrect or misleading. Together, we can make our community a safer place. Thank you for your continued support. From the Milltown Fire Department, due to the current drought, there is a Stage 3 fire ban now in effect for Middlesex County until further notice. Under this restriction, all open burning is prohibited, including campfires, bonfires, and fire pits. Outdoor grilling is limited to gas or propane grills only. The use of fireworks and any other outdoor flames is strictly prohibited, and residents are urged to comply with the ban to reduce fire risk and ensure community safety. Thank you for your cooperation. And members are needed. Candidates that are interested in joining the Milltown Fire Department are encouraged to stop down by the firehouse on Monday evenings at 6:30 or email joinmilltownfire@gmail.com. From the Milltown Rescue Squad, the squad will begin accepting applications for our winter onboarding process. Anyone who's interested in learning more about joining the rescue squad or becoming an EMT should email recruitment@milltownrescuesquad.org to learn more. Applications for January 2025 need to be submitted by December 10th, and any questions, please do not hesitate to contact the rescue squad. As Councilman Manco mentioned, all three emergency services enjoyed connecting with everyone at this past weekend's Touch-a-Truck at the Milltown Library's Harvest Day Festival and the Milltown Education Foundation's Trunk or Treat. And we wish everyone a happy, safe, and fun-filled Halloween. And finally, for the Milltown 4th of July, the Milltown 4th of July Committee invites you to join us on Saturday, March 22nd, at the Milltown American Legion, Post 25, for the annual Celebrity Bartender event. Mark your calendars and stay tuned for more details. And Mr. Mayor, that concludes my reports.
Thank you. Councilman Zambrana?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Our next Environmental Commission meeting will be this coming Wednesday, 2 days from now, October 30th at 7 p.m. via Zoom. Our next Board of Health meeting will be scheduled for November 26th at 6:30 p.m. in the back conference room. Our Human Relations Committee meeting is scheduled for November 5th, but obviously that's Election Day, and that will be scheduled at a later date in November. And Revitalization Advisory Committee will be meeting on November 12th, 7:30 p.m. via Zoom. And that concludes my reports.
Thank you. Reports from Borough Professionals, Peter Vignola, sorry.
Peter Attorney, that's me. There you go. Perfect. Last name's always hard. No report tonight, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Seeing me, Mr. McClellan.
Mr. Mayor, just two things quickly here tonight. First is to talk about the meter replacement program. We have worked with your administrator relative to proceeding with the meter replacement project. As you may know, remember the last meeting we talked about a quote that we obtained from Core and Main for approximately $1.3 million to not only put new meters in throughout the borough, but also take stock meters you have and install them. In addition, we worked recently, again, with the administrator to get the state grant that you have at approximately $2 million, and they plan, or they have agreed to advance you $1.5 million in the next day or so. You should have that in-house. With that in-house, then the next thing would be is to get a PO to them by November 13th, which was when the existing co-op they have will expire. So the plan now is to move jointly with your administration to present a resolution authorizing the preparation of the PO to authorize Core and Main to proceed with the project at your next meeting. So move forward. Next, I've asked Mr. Ploskanka to come today to briefly discuss what's involved in the road projects that we do for you, so you have some details to what's involved.
Yeah, thank you, Mike. So just to go over a brief list of what we do with these road design projects. Excuse me. So once we're authorized, as we were tonight, the project starts with the survey, field survey work that's done. For instance, on Northbrook Drive, our survey crew has to pick up approximately 1,300 survey points so that we can properly design the roadway improvements. When that data is collected, it's brought into the office and we prepare what's called base maps, which are the basis of the design of the project. With those base maps, our engineers go out in the field, they review the site conditions, locate the deteriorated pavement, the curbs, the sidewalks, bring that data in, and that's used for the design of the project. In the office, we analyze the roadway centerline profile, the cross-section slopes, and the gutter slopes to make sure the road's drained properly. We have to review the road geometry against acceptable standards. With the DOT-funded projects, we need to review all the signage on the road to make sure it conforms to current standards. We have to design every ADA ramp. That is, when you use the DOT funding, you have to give them a physical design of every ramp with grade, slopes, so they have to do each corner designed individually. We prepare the construction specifications for the project, and there's a lot of coordination with committees, with the Public Works Committee in particular, to develop the plans for the project. Once the final design is approved by committee, and the council blesses it, we prepare the project for bid. That includes permitting services. We typically with these roads, we have to go to freehold soils and get a plan certification, so we prepare that application. There's a lot of DOT grant coordination that goes into these projects. We have to do design certifications, prepare certified cost estimates, upload all the documents to the DOT's, what they call their PMRS system, and we have a back and forth with the DOT to address any comments they come up with. Once the DOT blesses the project to go to bid, we coordinate with the borough clerk to set a bid date, prepare the bid advertisement. We deal with the bidders during the bid period, answer any of their inquiries. We attend the bid opening, and we prepare a report to the mayor and council with a recommendation on the bid award. Then the project goes to construction, where we, number one, we prepare a submission for an upfront voucher to get upfront funding from the DOT. We schedule and conduct a pre-construction conference with the contractor, local officials, the police, DOT representatives. During construction, we coordinate with the residents. We prepare the resident notifications and send those out. We do all the on-site observation of the work, measure all the work that's performed for payment, coordinate traffic control with the police department, review any submittals from the contractor that come in for approval, prepare all the payment, review all the payment requests from the contractor and prepare recommendations to the borough for those. Coordinate and observe any final corrective work with the contractor to get the job closed out. And then we coordinate with the DOT at the end of the project to get their acceptance of the work and to coordinate the final grant reimbursement for the borough. And that pretty much sums up what these DOT-funded projects involve.
Excellent, thank you.
Is there, I'll say, from when you first put a shovel in to the end of that project, what do you expect that to take? Just roughly, I mean, of course, very rough. But just wondering as a guideline.
You mean from start to finish?
Sorry?
Microphone, Councilman.
Start to finish?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, aside from all the processes that happen before you put a shovel in the ground, so to speak, but the actual physical work, is that like a 3-month or 2-month?
Depends on the size of the project, obviously, but in general, it's probably a 3 to 5 month duration.
Do you know how long the project's going to be? I mean, lengthwise on that, on Northbrook Drive?
Northbrook, we're starting at Kearney.
Okay. And you're going
And,
down to Reba?
We're going to get to actually to Bear.
Bear, okay.
Because we're staying within the grant funding. There wasn't enough grant funding from the DOT to go the whole length to Reba.
Okay.
So it looks like we can get to Bear. We're actually including in the contract a deletion item to take it back to part done should the bids come in a little higher and,
Okay.
you know, so that we have the ability to award the project.
Excellent.
Thank you. Business Administrator, Fred Carr.
Thank you, Mayor. So for the council, I provided the council this draft here of the notice of unknown service line composition. So this is a draft of a letter that we're still revising up at the Water Department or with Don Herman and Beth in construction. That's going out to the residents of the Borough of Milltown before the required date of 15 November as set by DEP. All right, like the letter a month ago about trihalomethanes, The data or the verbiage in this letter is dictated by our friends down in Trenton. So it's right off, their website and all the rest of that. There was a draft of this and some initial conversation of this letter and the requirement for this provided to the council back on the 31st of July. During that 31st of July email, if you want to go back for your reading pleasure, is this lead service line identification and replacement plan submitted to DEP on the 31st of July by I signed it, and of course Mike signed it, and when I came back from Greece. If you go to page 2 of that report that I submitted in July, it'll tell you that we have 2,609 service connections in the town, and we know that 92 people have lead service lines. Those 92 people have gotten letters already that said, you have a lead service line, you need to take steps to fix it at your own expense. What's missing from our data required by DEP, we're on a 10-year cycle to provide this data to DEP, and we're the 3rd year into it, is we don't have 2,506 addresses of what kind of service lines those people have. And we're required by DEP to have that data. Now, the segue into what Mike was talking about in their meter replacement program, to fulfill the DEP requirement and change the meters all at the same time, Council, when we do the meter replacement program, the guy who's going in to look at the meter, he's also going to inspect the water line. So if the resident, who doesn't know whether it's galvanized or copper or whatever, doesn't have to worry about it. The meter replacement guy is going to go down, replace the meter, note in the form what kind of meter it is, what kind of water line it is, and then that data will come back again to us, the borough engineer, myself, the water department, and then we'll start sending letters out to people saying, we replaced your meter, and here's the bad news, you have a lead service line, but we have to get that data, and we're 3 years behind the power curve. I'm hoping that with this meter replacement program, when the dust settles at the end of the day, everybody will have a new, smart kind of meter that goes straight up to the cloud, into the utility department, and we'll know what kind of service line they have. Now, if you look at the picture here, mine's in color, yours is in black and white. It's very simple. If you look at that little dot right there, that's the main water line, and the homeowner in the borough of Milltown is responsible for that line from the connection of the main in the street all the way into their house to the meter box. So, we've had some concerns with some residents and other places that I've been. When you go out there and you start digging up this water line, it's expensive, but it's your water line, not the borough's. I would ask that the council, as we move forward, to consider, for instance, amending the water fees. I've spoken about this before. Currently, if you're a water customer in the borough and you tap into this line, we classify that as a brand new connection. It's a brand new hole in the water line. I would recommend that the council consider that if you're replacing your water line, we consider that tap free. We don't charge you for that brand new hole in our water line if you're replacing the lead pipe service line. But you're going to have to do that in the water ordinance, because right now we don't have that ability as an idea. So tell people, look, it's going to cost you 10, 15, 20 grand, depending on how long that line is, how deep it is, to replace the lead pipe, the lead service line. And if you do it, you can tap it for free. But it's got to be supervised by Don in the water department. You got to have a licensed plumber. You have to have all that kind of stuff. But moving forward, as an encouragement to people to replace their lines, I think that would be a viable option. But it has to be in an ordinance, or we can't waive the fee. Because right now it's very clear. You tap into it, there's a fee. So there'll be more to come. If you have any questions, get a hold of me, get a hold of Don, get a hold of Mike. It's pretty straightforward, Thank you.
Fred, if you can just check the email on the last page, if that's correct or not.
For Don,
Yeah. Maybe an old email.
are we missing lines?
Nope, it says NJ. I'll look if there's an NJ anymore.
Borough
It's just
NJ?
Tom
Nope,
Borough.
that's correct.
Yep, so if you want to fix that, so they can send it to the right person if they have.
We're getting all excited.
You told us to review it. I'm reviewing it as we
Yeah,
go.
good. I got this about an hour before I walked in, so we've
I
been
got
working on it, we're working on it today, exactly. We'll
No
do that.
worries. We'll look at it too and see if anything else comes up.
Borough Clerk, Monica Orlando.
I just want to talk a little bit about the election and early voting. I've gotten a lot of phone calls from residents regarding early voting and some confusion. There are no early voting polling locations in Milltown. That being said, there are several within the county. Any Middlesex County resident can go to any polling location within Middlesex County from Saturday, October 26th until early voting ends on Sunday, November 3rd. The hours for early voting are 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday to Saturday and 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Sunday. I updated the Borough website. On the front page is listed all of the early voting locations. You don't need an appointment, you just go. If you have your sample ballot for them to scan, it makes it a little bit easier. If not, they can still find you and bring up the appropriate ballot for you to vote on. Let's see, what else did I want to touch base on? Also on the website, I put a map that is color-coded with the different districts. We have 9 districts in town, so if you're unsure what district you are, if you're unsure where you have to vote and you lost your sample ballot, go on the front page of the website, you will see the map. You can click on it to make it bigger. Below that map or above it, I'm not sure how I did it, it shows the different districts and where your polling location is. If that still doesn't work for you, you're still not sure, you're welcome to call my office, 732-828-2100, extension 181, or you can send me an email, morlando@milltownborough.com, and we will figure out where you need to go to vote. Tomorrow, October 29th, is the deadline to apply for a mail-in ballot by 4 p.m. With the county clerk, if you still need a mail-in ballot. The mail-in ballot box is open until 8 p.m. the night of the election, and then I will be out there at 8 o'clock at night to lock it. And then we have on Election Day, the polls are open from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. I am asking everyone who does come to vote in person on Election Day to please have some patience and to show my poll workers some grace. I do believe it's going to be longer than usual lines this year. I know that a lot of people are very passionate about this election, so I just ask that we show my poll workers some grace. If you have any questions and concerns about what's happening at a polling location, I will be in my office starting at 4:30 in the morning on the day of the election, and I will be here probably until 11 o'clock at night. When polls are closed, I have all my equipment back and everything else. So again, that number is 732-828-2100, extension 181. Email morlando@milltownborough.com. I will be going around to the 3 polling locations to check in during the day if anybody has any concerns, and that is all.
Thank you. Does any member of council have any old business to bring before council?
Yes. I wanted to bring this up. When we were looking at the bill list, and it was closed out before I got to say something, but I'd like to say it now. It's about, it's from page 3, Cleary, Jacob, however you pronounce that, Alfieri Jacobs, special counsel bill list. And I saw that we got another bill, this one for $4,773. I reviewed the bill list and I see the bill, and I'm not happy about this. It's an endless dispersal of funds, 5 months in, going on 6. I know what I call this, and I will not say it here. I will not be, we have not been given updates that I know of, nor descriptives of how the taxpayer money has been spent. As council approves bills to be paid unless certain people have been receiving information and not disclosing it. To me, this is a travesty, again with taxpayer dollars. Initially, our labor attorney recommended the mediation action to take place. I went along. Now this is many months along. I roll my eyes. I shake my head with a sigh. We should have had the strength to deal with this issue in-house instead of farming it out. Some people look at taxpayer money like a gift horse. I assure residents of Milltown, I do not. This investigation, in my opinion, is a frivolous waste of taxpayer money, and the aggrieved party, after almost half a year, is still without justice. As Martin Luther King said, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Like up the street, if anyone remembers. I have 2 other, okay, I'm done with old business.
I'd like to close all business. Does any member of council have any new business?
Oh, Mike, I have one question. Sure. do you know when that water replacement program's gonna begin? Have an idea? The water meter replacement?
It's, it'll take a little while to get the meters ordered, so I'd say it can be done because there's no weather, it's been done sun, so I'd say probably right January for the year.
January.
Hopefully have it ready by, we haven't got a time schedule, but they can probably do it about 3 to 6 months. So hopefully by mid-year, you'll have the meters. Yeah, not bad.
Yeah, I just want to make sure the residents know what's happening, so thanks.
Hey, Mike, can I ask a question just to piggyback on that?
Sure.
Has there, and it might be too early to ask this question, but I'll ask it anyway. Is there any place in town that's been a district that's been identified to start?
Not yet, no.
Okay.
No. We'll probably coordinate with your administrator and your water department and begin to take a look at where the meters have been installed already. I know some have been installed.
Yeah.
We'll try to make a logical way of go through it. You know, remember, the notices have to be put to the residents. You
Yep.
need to schedule times. There's quite a bit of coordination.
Okay, thank you.
Okay?
I'd like to close new business. The public comment portion of this meeting is to allow the public to bring to the council's attention their comments or concerns. Council will respect the public's time by refraining from any comment until the speaker is finished. It should be further noted that this is a public comment portion of our meeting and not structured as a question and answer session. Please state your name and address for the record when you come to the podium. Just a reminder that under the rules of council, individuals wishing to speak during the public input part of the meeting shall be limited to 5 minutes and may, after others speak, have finished, be allowed to speak a second 5-minute period.
Mayor, council members, ladies and gentlemen, Richard Ryan, 60 South Main Street. Quick point or two with regard to the water utility. Considering bills have gone out, not to everybody, and the discussion, continuing discussion with regard to service lines and replacements, and the continuing discussion as to whether or not come the first day of business in the new year, whether the mayor and council will revisit rates with the water utility. I have a suggestion, one that I'm sure will meet with resistance. However, if we consider that we're in this together as tax-paying residents and users of the utility, I think it's time that, if there hasn't been discussion already, that there should be with regard to changing ordinances to reflect that the homeowner should only be responsible for that service line from the valve box to the house, not to the water main in Main Street, or whatever street you may live on. I recognize from a business standpoint, probably most people would not be in favor of that. But the question really becomes, how much can you take from the residents? So please consider it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, good evening. Dawn Milburn, 12 Jasmine. I just wanted to first thank Ralph Jasanaski and Lou Plaskanka for meeting some members of the Environmental Commission, Mr. Godber and I, to look at the bike path at Albert Avenue, because we had some concern about some of the trees that would have to be removed, and we were completely satisfied. Thank you. You know, the explanations of why certain trees needed to go, really appreciate you meeting us there. And also, just a question about, when it comes to DOT grants with Northbrook Drive, do we determine the roads that are selected to have those grants by the borough going and, you know, investigating the streets that are worse, or does it come from residents that are raising the concern that their street needs repairs?
Yeah, it's generally discussed in committee before the applications are submitted.
So discussed in committee, meeting that does do Public Works go around and kind of evaluate the roads that look the worst? Or if a neighborhood is complaining that their roads need to be serviced? What is the criteria for being brought to your attention?
I think Public Works has a good feel for the entire
Okay.
road system, so
All right.
Ralph is usually at the meeting with the Public Works Committee, and it's discussed amongst the members, and
Okay.
Public Works.
Good. I just wondered, because I live on Desmet, and I don't ever remember the roads being repaired since I was a child in that neighborhood. And I wondered if residents, can I bring that to your attention at Desmet Avenue and also the bottom of Hill, where Desmet and Hill meet, there's a huge pothole, and the road is in very poor condition. If we can bring that to your attention.
Duly noted.
Okay, thank you. Desmet and Hill. And also, I had a few people contact the Environmental Commission with questions about the lead service lines. I know that we're not Newark, but I don't know, what is the criteria for residents that want to replace the lead lines to be able to receive grants? Because I remember at one time hearing that if a certain percentage of people were to have lead pipelines, we might be, what will it take for these residents, these poor residents, to have grants to pay for the replacement of these lead pipes?
Right now, we would direct any resident who had concerns to the NJDEP.
Okay.
There may be a possibility where there may be some grant funds available. We have heard that there may be, a lot of times it's controlled by their income level, but that's what I would suggest that they contact the DEP, and there's a whole entire program on the lead service line replacements.
Okay, so it wouldn't go through the town, it would be an individual
That's
thing?
correct. That's right.
And isn't there a point, though, if they don't meet certain financial requirements, if there's a certain percentage of homes that do have lead pipes, doesn't our town also qualify as a whole for that?
Right now, we've checked to see whether Milltown would qualify. Right now, the only thing Milltown could qualify for is low-interest loans to go through and put the
Okay,
service.
like for individual families?
That's
Okay, thank you. And I wasn't present for any discussions in regard to the Schwendeman cabin, but I guess I just want to express, as probably you're going to have expressed in the future with more EC members and residents, a great concern over some of the sentiments that have come forth about the condition of the cabin, whether it's worth, repairing or keeping. I just want to remind the council that historically, I think it was probably about 6 or 7 years ago, we did have a professional inspection of the cabin. It did not indicate the same condition that was indicated on your newest report, which I have not read in full yet. I'm concerned that we've already used grant monies to hire that second engineer, which I'm not really sure was necessary, and that's not really my profession, my expertise. But I am concerned about any sentiments of the cabin not being historic, not being worth saving, and I would hope that this, I know the mayor has always showed respect and concern for the cabin himself, as has the Boy Scouts of America in Milltown. So I know that your heart has always been in the right place with that, but I am concerned about how you're going to move forward with the property. So I hope to hear more about that later, what your plans are. And I encourage every young person who is not registered to vote to please register to vote. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Lee Weisenberger, 99 JFK Drive. Just to follow up on that grant money or whatever, I know going back a few years, Matawan, the local representatives, got them some money for lead line replacement. And certainly everybody knows about Newark, but there was supposed to be other smaller towns that did get money, but I'm more curious, like I said, the old American Rescue Funds and the rest of them, if there's money left in that stuff that could help people. If anybody knows? Okay, and another thing, our ex-mayor, Trina, when she was here, she mentioned that she had her line replaced, and it was lead from the valve to the main, but copper to the house. So how do you deal with that? If you had your line replaced because it was clogged over the years and you had it from the valve to the house, and you still got lead out in the street, everybody gonna have to dig up that valve and find out what's going on? Just bringing it up.
I'll close audience comments. Council comments. Is there anyone from council that wants to bring anything up at this time?
Sure. First, I'm going to say I was born in 1957. The cabin was built in 1958, so I guess that means I'm historic. Yeah. I've asked Milltown School Superintendent Dr. Brown if she would please consider attending a council meeting. I asked her in August to address Milltown parents and residents. I advised her respectfully that it would be helpful to the residents and good public relations for her and the school board. The Board of Ed meetings are not televised and the council meetings are, so it would be a good opportunity for Dr. Brown to get to know the residents and taxpayers of Milltown. She could also get to know the residents and form a relationship. Being that almost 68% of school funding comes from Milltown taxpayers, I believe it is fair to know who is responsible for how this money is spent. Dr. Brown's response to me was sending links to their budget meeting, and so far she has declined my respectful request to attend a council meeting. I have another thing to add, and essentially it's about the voting, but I would like to speak about, and this is nonpartisan, I would like to speak about the American citizens and their right to vote, especially in local elections. One of the few rights that we have as Americans to exercise freely is the right to vote.